Hey BookTube, so today I'm going to talk about one of my biggest bookish fears, and that is very long books. I don't know why the length of a book and how many pages it is always scares me, because it should be about the contents of a book. It should be about the plot or if I'm excited about it. But no, if this book has more than 500 pages, I will ignore it. Even if I love the concept, even if I'm really excited to read it, I will not pick it up because it is 100 more pages than a 400-page book. Like, there's something about books that are longer than 500 pages that just scares me, because I feel like I'm going to take too much time on it, then I'm going to get behind my good reading challenge, and yeah, I don't want to go there. So today we're going to talk about some of those long books that I'm really excited about, but because they're long, I have not, as of yet, read them. Okay, so first I want to talk about To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. This is a very recent release. It came out, I think, this year, 2021. I think it did come out this year. And if you recognize that name, that is because Christopher Paolini wrote one of the more popular fantasy series of our generation, Eragon, and that entire series is known as the Inheritance Cycle. And this is, I think, the first book, like, not in that world that he's written since that series. And it clocks in on Goodreads at 878 pages. I kid you not. I went to the library excited to read this book, got it, and then realized how long it was, and it just sat on my shelf, not touched. I do plan to read this book someday. I am really excited for it. Although I didn't finish The Inheritance Cycle, I remember loving Eragon, and I really think that I will enjoy this book, even though it is a kind of more adult sci-fi book. I've watched interviews of Christopher Paolini about this book, and he says that it doesn't really go into that sci-fi element, and it's more of an adventure. And I'm here for a space opera. I think the basic gist of this book is this girl, Kira Navarreyes, she finds this ancient alien relic, and then everything breaks loose. She gets enveloped in this spatial odyssey. When Kira faces her own horrors, Earth and its colonies stand upon the brink of annihilation. That sounds epic, but it is 870 pages. And it doesn't have amazing reviews by any means. It's a 3.86 star rating average on Goodreads, which is not bad, but I feel like a lot of the books I love are in that 4.2 range, so 3.86 is not bad, but it's definitely not as high as I was expecting. But I mean, with reaching almost 900 pages, there's a lot of places you can go wrong, especially with pacing. Moving on to the next book, or rather the next series, and that is the Illuminae Files, I think they are, by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I feel like this is a series that I've heard of nonstop ever since I joined or started watching BookTube videos. It is really hyped on BookTube, and I actually was planning to read it really early on until I looked at how long the book is. So the first book, Illuminae, is 602 pages, then Gemina is 659 pages, then Obsidio is 618 pages. I know it's written in this kind of like multimedia format with like interviews and kind of files, but I still don't like 600-page books. I'm still scared of that. And this book is still kind of out of my comfort zone, even though it is one I really want to read. I mean, it's set in the year 2575 or 2575, and it has warships and AI and plagues that cause mutations and all of these weird experiments, hacked documents, ex-boyfriends. Like, there's so much in this book, and yeah, it's told through emails, maps, files, IMs, medical reports, interviews, and more. And yeah, that makes this book less scary, but it is still a very long book, and it is a very long series, and I just don't know if I will be able to be dedicated to the entirety of that series if I do like the first book. But I will read it eventually, and I will make a reading vlog of it because I am really excited about it. I haven't read that many like multimedia books. I've read books that have like illustrations in them, which are almost like rarities these days, because there just aren't illustrations in books unless you're reading a graphic novel. The Book Thief, I know, is a really prominent example that had illustrations in it. I know Sadie was also told in Poscad. Whew. I know Sadie was also told in podcast mode along with the normal prose, and I really did like Sadie, and I like that aspect of it. So I'm excited to read Illuminae. And it does have a pretty high star rating system on Goodreads. Again, it is a very popular book. 4.27 is very high. And it does have themes that I'm really interested in exploring, with this courage of everyday heroes, the price of truth, and those are themes that I am really interested in reading about. And yeah, so I have high expectations for this book and for the series if I do read it, if I like the first book. Next, we're going to talk about a book that I've wanted to read ever since I saw the cover and ever since I saw the hype around it, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Can we just admire the cover? This thing is beautiful. I feel it's even more beautiful is the concept of the book itself. It, as the title may suggest, it's about dreamers and how the dream chooses the dreamer, not the other way around. And this concept of like why this country, city of Weep, is separated from the rest of the world. So interesting to me, and I love all the myths and kind of legends that are already surrounding this place in the description. I love that our main character is a librarian. That is always a great thing to see, and I feel like we're gonna get a lot of like the importance of dreams and how dreams are infused with books and vice versa in this book. I just love all the mystery that surrounds this book and the city of Weep, and think that I will absolutely love this book. But it is at 544 pages, and that is a very long. But I think I am only committing myself to a duology if I do like this book, so at least that's alright. And I know a lot of people on BookTube really like this book, so I really do want to give it a go. And the next book on my list is Don Quixote by Miguel Cervantes? I think that's his name? Yeah, Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra. Yeah. This has always just seemed like such a fun book to me. I think it's about like this man who wants to become a knight, and so he literally like just gets armor and becomes this kind of imaginary knight and travels around the world. I just think that's such a fun concept. Like, it just sounds amazing, and the company of his faithful squire, Sancho Panza, his exploits blossom in all sorts of wonderful ways. Like, I just think that this book sounds like so much fun. It's been generally recognized as the first modern novel. That's interesting. But this book has 1,023 pages. This book is long, and I'm scared of reading it. But from what I've heard, it feels like you just don't notice that. Like, it's so hilarious and it's so packed with fun and playfulness that you just don't notice how long it is. And I know for me, like, I feel like I've never been fully trapped in a story. Like, yes, I've been enamored by a story and I'm like waiting to see what happens next, but I feel like I'm always aware that I'm reading a book. So I don't know how that's gonna go, but I really want to read this book. So I'm planning to make a reading vlog of this. I saw that Zoe from Rabbi Zoe tried to read it in one day, and I want to try to read this book in one day, which might be suicidal, but I'm gonna try. And the last long book that I'm really scared of reading is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This is also a book that I feel like is so infused with playfulness and just like this love of stories. I mean, just reading the description and like seeing how the guy is a librarian and he falls in love with like this underground library and all of the different adventures and objects that he finds. Like, it just makes me so excited for this book. But I'm pretty sure it's 500 pages. Like, I think it's exactly like 500. Oh, it is 498. Yeah, but it's a very long book, and I really do want to like this book because I read The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which is by far her most popular book, and the book that made this book so anticipated, so highly anticipated. And I did not like The Night Circus, but I saw the potential in her writing style, and so I think I will enjoy this book. But I haven't seen great reviews. Yeah, I really want to read this book. I really want to come back to this video in like 5 years. No. Yeah. 3 to 5 years. And hopefully be able to say that I read all of these books. Or at least tried to. But anyway, guys, that was 5 books, five very long books that I want to read in my lifetime. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, comment down below some long books that you are scared of reading. If you would recommend any of the long books that I talked about, and subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and I will see you next time with another video. Bye.